still, Nigeria decides on Plus TV Africa. Agricultural research and development encompasses an extremely broad range of activities and potential innovations. Are we doing any in Nigeria? Well, that is the critical question, and we are continuing our conversation on that. We still have with us Emmanuel Ijewere. He is the Vice President, Nigerian Agribusiness Group. Thank you so much, sir, for still being with us.
Thank you.
Now, Emmanuel, when we're talking about research and development within the agricultural sector, what does this necessarily mean? Take us through the scope.
It means that whatever it is you're doing now, can't you do it better? Whatever it is you're achieving now, can't you achieve at a higher level? In other words, your yield, if you are getting 5 metric tons per hectare, can you go up to 10? Can you go up to 7, to 15, and so on and so forth? And number 2, can you do it a lot more efficiently where a smaller space or a smaller land is used for the same level of production? So, and how do you now improve the education of these people? So the research itself is how to improve what you already have, what nature has given you, improving and building on what nature has given you.
And in your observation so far, have we been doing any research? Because we understand that the tertiary institutions are the ones who drive this level of research and coming up with findings and a whole lot more. But do you think we are doing any research in agriculture so far?
A lot is being done. Actually, most of it, not necessarily in the tertiary institutions as we know them, like universities and so on. Very little is being done there. Most of these are being done in the research institutions, like FIRO, like NIHOT, like IITA, like Vaughan in Jos, like Umudike. All those, yes, those ones are set up specifically to research for agricultural industry. But the problem here is that research has moved away from what it used to be 50 years ago, 25 years ago. Nigeria has not moved from there. What has it moved to? It's moved to a situation where those who actually use the research are working with those who are doing the research. In other words, you don't start researching something until you know what you need, who is going to use it. That's exactly the situation. Let's give the vehicle, with the situation about the vehicles now. You have Tesla, is coming in for the non-fossil fuel powering. That means it's been electrically powered. Because the price of oil is going up and it's dwindling. So there's a demand for that going into the future. So they've researched into that. But in doing it, they ask themselves first, will people buy this car? Since the answer is yes, they go for it. In the same manner, before you do any research, line it up with those who will take it from you and move it to the next level.
Now, you're talking about integrated research such that there's no gap between who should use it and who is researching.
Yes.
How do we form the nexus?
The nexus is now in the process of being formed because in recent times, the Nigeria Agribusiness Group, incidentally, the Nigeria Agribusiness Group was set up by Dr. Akinwumi Adesina. You remember him?
Yes,
the former,
at the Bank of...
He saw the fact that the private sector needed to come together to be able to speak to government more positively, rather than them being in small groups. And that's how the Nigeria Agribusiness Group was formed. Fortunately, it's the Dangote that's the president of that body. And that is now beginning to work. So we are now going into discussions and we've started MOUs with these research institutions. What are we now doing? Many of them, we discovered that one particular research institution has 280 researches that have been concluded and are fantastic. But those of us in the private sector knew nothing about it. So we have taken them, removing the cobwebs and bringing them out for everybody to see now and sending it to people and say, please, this is how you can improve. This has been done. We link you up with the research institutions. Many of the research institutions are underfunded, but these private sector people are saying, for this particular one, we are ready to put our money in there because we are going to make profit from this increased yield and so on. That is how this is happening. It's happening very slowly, but it's beginning to. So it's not as if we are where we were in the 1960s. But also remember that until recently, until about 1970s, the height of the economy the strength of the economy was in the hands of the government. Government owned everything. The private sector in Nigeria really did not exist at that time. Only few companies like the UACs and so on. But that has changed dramatically.
Now,
So I think
Emmanuel, do you think that we should also be looking towards areas of specialization? Because at the end of the day, when we are looking at increasing our yield and having more resistant crops and a whole lot more, don't you think we are supposed to be specializing? Because at the end of the day, we look at advanced climes, not necessarily tilting to genetically modified products, but there are leaps and bounds when it comes to research and having stronger crops and seeds. What should we be doing in areas of specialization?
I agree with you, but in our own particular situation, we are short of everything. So specialization at this time may not be profitable. Let's take, for example, Nigeria today is the biggest producer of cassava. 40% of the entire world's cassava is produced in this small country called Nigeria. But we export nothing. Indonesia produces about 6% of the world's cassava. They export over about 80% of their produce are out there. That's the area of specialization we're talking about here, improving on this. IITA, which is the biggest research institution in the world for cassava, is based here in Nigeria, and they have moved cassava from being this size to being this size. Now, what is left now is for us to know, how do we capitalize on this? A country that produces only about 15% of the world's cassava, Brazil, is selling, I think, about 20% of its petrol or for fueling vehicles now comes from ethanol. Nigeria does not have one operating ethanol company. So those are areas we are looking at. Those are the possibilities. So we have an advantage in so many places, but we need to attack it from very many fronts. Not just, if we now say, let us concentrate on this. No, the country is too big. Our needs are too many. And we have the capability. And our youths have a lot up there. Very good.
Now, with all the research that has been done in the Nigerian agricultural sector, and all of those ones that you said you had to remove cobwebs from and all that, the fact that they are now in use, have we been able to begin to produce something so well and to the right quality and standards that we have begun to export them?
We've not gotten to that stage yet. You see, the other problem about export, when your country is spending so much money, wasting so much money importing goods, the moment you stop importing and producing locally, it's already an advantage because you're preserving your foreign exchange. It's the next stage there you go to start exporting. As of today, given the size of Nigeria, before we can get to a position where we start exporting, is to first of all stop the importation because the demand of our people is so high. Satisfy the demand of your people, then you can now start exporting.
So we're not exporting anything at this material
We are
time.
exporting a number of things. I was in France early last year, and I discovered that I went to the Rungis, is their huge international market, and I saw cashew with big containers, and I said, "Where is this from?" They said it's from Vietnam. I remembered that some of my friends exported cashew nuts to Vietnam. I said, "Do the traceability," and they now trace it. The guy came up, said, "Voila, original." It came from Nigeria.
Well, how did you feel at that point?
Me?
Yeah.
Because I was on the way to the airport, I called my friend and I told him he should be ashamed of himself.
You would have.
And I told him the price at which they were selling that. He sold his, I think it was about equivalent about 2 naira. These people are saying that equivalent of 25 naira.